Welcome to the Black Script Storytellers. My name is Kevin Marable, and today we have an amazing actor who's been a series regular on some of television's most popular shows, which we're going to get into, as well as teaches other actors how they too can become a series regular. J. August Richards, thank you so much for joining. How are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. This is a great platform. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into the thick of things. There's a
Cool.
question that I ask everybody when we get started. It is a very simple question, but some people might find it difficult to answer. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh,
Although, before we start,
okay.
can I just correct one thing
Sure.
that's important? It's a minor thing.
No, no, please.
So, my course is called Being a Series Regular, right? And so
Okay.
people always hear how to be a series regular. So, just in the beginning, you said I teach people how to be a series regular. It's a minor
Yes.
distinction. I don't teach them how to be a series regular. I teach them the job of being a series regular. So it
It's
was
more
a
informative.
point, yes, and it was an important topic when we were creating the course because, from a marketing standpoint, how to be a series regular is smarter. But I felt that that was misleading, and I
Yeah.
felt like it was a false promise because I can't control the industry. No one can control the industry. The industry has no rules, and therefore, what works for one may not work for another. So,
Right.
no one can teach you how to be a series regular, but I can teach you what the job of being a series regular entails. And
Hmm.
it's a job that starts long before you actually book the job itself. And therefore, there is a large component of preparation that I do go through in the course. So I just wanted to correct that minor thing first.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that you said that because that was going to be not necessarily one of my questions, but um, the way I formulated the question was still along the same lines of teaching.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so I appreciate the fact that you were able to explain that. So there's a very simple question that I ask everybody that I have on. Some people might find it difficult to answer, but it's a very simple question. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah, I'm nervous now.
No need to be nervous. Who is J. August Richards?
Mm. J. August Richards is a child of God. J. August Richards is an artist. J.
Mhm.
August Richards is a human rights activist. And that's who I am.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Okay. I like it. You weren't afraid. You had the answers ready to go, so that's good.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just, yeah, because I mean, there are periods in your life where you really have to answer that question for yourself. And that
Absolutely.
answer is readily available for me because I did go through a season and a period where I had to learn who I was. And that was the answer that I was given. I'm also Gloria's son. I'm Melissa's brother. I'm Raina, Rachel, Darius Jr., Jamila, Janae, and Alexis's uncle.
Okay.
We have so many identities, but
Yes.
all of those identities fall under a child of God for me.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what it makes up you as a person. And that's what I love. And that's why I asked that question because I
It's a
also
beautiful
want
question.
the human side of folks as well, because a lot of times we look at celebrities or people we see on TV all the time and we tend to not humanize them. So I like to,
I forgot
and
Antonio. Sorry, my other nephew Antonio. Sorry.
okay, yeah, no worries. Shout out to Antonio.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw that you attended theater school early on, but before we go there, when did you know that you wanted to act?
Birth.
From birth.
So, yes, from the minute I was put in front of a television, I tried to crawl inside of it. I don't know what it was, but there was something about TV, especially, that called to me. I would be in front of the TV for hours as a child, and they thought it was bad for me, and maybe it was. But I remember one time I was dating someone, and she said to me, "You watch a lot of TV, but I can tell that you're studying." And I was even as a child. As a child, I knew the difference between film and video. I knew the difference between a half hour and an hour. I knew what a casting director was, what a best boy was. I used to have magazines sent to the house, Premiere Magazine. I'd read it from cover to cover. I'd learn who the directors were, what movies were coming out. I watched Siskel and Ebert every Sunday, and I'd go
Dude,
see the movies on Friday and Saturday before Sunday because I wanted to formulate my own opinion about the movie before I heard theirs to see if it was in alignment. I feel like I got my taste from Roger Ebert. So this is who I am. This is who I've always wanted to be. I and as a part of my identity, that's why I say I'm an artist,
wow.
storyteller.
Yeah, and an enthusiast. You're a studier, a researcher. You did your due diligence, and you observed and learned along the way.
Yeah.
Um, so you went through school, and then you attended theater school. Which school did you attend?
The University of Southern California. But before that, I went to a visual and performing arts high school,
Oh,
Suitland Center for the Visual and Performing Arts in Forestville, Maryland. And then,
oh, hey, yeah, I'm in the DMV. I'm in
no
Virginia.
way.
I'm in
Oh,
Virginia.
nice,
Yeah,
nice. What city?
Woodbridge. Yeah,
Nice. Okay, so very close to DC.
yes,
Very cool. So yeah, I grew up there, and I wanted to go to Ellington, but PG County was opening their own VPA school, so I went there. So yeah, I went to USC and studied theater.
wow,
But
wow,
ironically, I chose USC because right before I graduated from high school, John Singleton dropped Boys in the Hood. And
yeah,
it was such a revolutionary movie, and I loved it so much. And I was like, wow, there's black folks in a movie,
right.
even though I'd seen other black folks in Spike Lee movies and other movies. But I was like, I want to go where he went.
Hmm.
And so that's why I chose USC.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have to be accepted, or was it easier to? I wouldn't say easier to get in, but
Yeah,
was
no, I had to be accepted. I had to audition for the theater school in New York. My mom and I flew up to New York, auditioned in person. I had to, do the SATs, do all of that stuff. And fortunately, I got accepted. It was
right.
the only school I applied to. My mom thought I was having applications sent to the house from all over the country, but USC was the only one I filled out because I knew I had to get to LA and I knew I was going to be an actor and I knew I had to get to USC.
Right. And okay. And so you make your way through school, you graduate and all of that, and then you finally find your way into Hollywood. What was your first big break? What would you consider as your first big break?
Well, my first job in life was on the Cosby Show.
Really?
Yes, I booked that role while I was in high school.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
the Cosby Show came on TV. I knew I wanted to be an actor. I was like, this looks like the kind of show that I should be on. I read the credits. I noticed there was something called a casting director. I called information. See, you're too young to know about information,
No,
but
no,
oh, you're not?
no,
Okay.
I'm 43.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So that's so funny because my husband is 43 too. And
Okay.
so you are Gen X and not a millennial.
Yes.
So, okay, that's good to know. So, back in that day when you had to get a number from another state, you dialed the area code, then you dial 555-1212. So, I called that number. I got the casting director's office number. I called his office. Somebody answered the phone. I said, my name is Jamie Richards. I want to be on the Cosby Show. And the lady was like, what are you talking about? You can't just call and get on the Cosby Show. Hung up. I called every so often. I just kept calling, kept calling. One day, I guess they were short staffed. The casting director, Barry Moss, picked up the phone. I said, hi, my name is Jamie Richards. I want to be on the Cosby Show. And he said, kid, this is not how it happens. Do you have an agent? Do you have a manager? I was like, no. He was like, okay, listen, I'm going to be at an acting camp in New York. Come up. We'll talk about the business. It's a workshop. Flew up to New York, went to the workshop, listened to his thing. He asked if anybody wanted to read for him. I threw my hand up in the air. I went up and I read for him. He said, you're really good. If you're ever in New York, look me up for the Cosby Show.
Wow.
That Monday, the camp was over on Sunday. On Monday, I flew back to New York. That was in the Catskills, that was just in Pennsylvania. So I flew to New York. I showed up at his office and I said, I want to be on the Cosby Show. He was like, kid, I did not mean fly up here.
Not
But
literally.
literally, but he goes, but we are casting for Vanessa's boyfriend. Read this. I read it. He said, can you come back at 3? I came back at 3. I got the part. That was my first job in life. That was my
Okay.
first acting job. And it's interesting because in my course, in my career, that story I just gave you, I
Mhm.
have just rinse repeated that story throughout my career from a co-star to a guest star to a series regular to another series regular and another and another and another. And
Wow.
so that story that I told you is sort of the formula that I'm teaching in a lot of ways. I only realized it now that I've been doing the same thing over
Mhm.
and over again, just on a different level each time. So that's what my course is about.
Wow. And so, okay, so I didn't know. First of all, I didn't know you were on the Cosby Show, and this story is amazing, by the way.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, you were an accomplished actor with over 30 years in the business, and many of the credits to your name, such as Grey's Anatomy, Marvel's Agents of Shield, Angel, Council of Dads, Notorious, Conviction, Kevin Probably Saves the World, and Vampire Academy, and I'm sure there's many more that I'm missing.
Wow,
Um,
you got my whole resume. Nice.
I'm trying to make sure I did my homework, man. And so you've earned the title of what's known as a series regular. You've done it plenty of times. Break that down for the audience for people who may not know, or they might be aspiring actors, and they're just breaking into this business. What is a
Yeah.
series regular, and how do you become one?
Well, a series regular is an actor on a show who is in most or all of the episodes in a single season. So, like when you're watching the show, usually their name comes up at the top of the show. You see them in every episode. It's a
Mhm.
very coveted job amongst actors because, as actors, we're the ultimate freelancers and we have very few tangible measurements of success. As an observer of the industry, you might see an actor, at a certain point in their career, they may be on magazine covers, they might win awards, but
Right.
those are very almost like flimsy measures of success. So, as actors, and I know that I did this when I first became an actor, I felt like when I booked a series regular, it would be a measure of accomplishment. And it is, but
Yeah.
there are lots of tangible measures of accomplishment that I
Right.
teach in my course that you should also celebrate.
Right.
So, while being a series regular it's such a valuable opportunity, and truthfully, in those 30 years as a professional actor, I've watched other actors struggle with understanding the depth and the breadth of the opportunity of being a series regular. You have a lot of duties that come with it. In my course, I described that there is the work of being a series regular, which is taking full creative ownership of the character you've been hired to play and running with it, making it yours. When we watch TV, we want to meet characters that we feel like, wow, that person feels like a real person to me. And so I'm teaching that you got to bring so much of yourself to it so that character can live and sing on television. Then there is the job of being a series regular, which has an onset component and an offset component. That offset component is about how the actions you take in your everyday life can reflect on that job, and negatively or positively, right? And then onset, you have a responsibility as sort of a leader, somebody
Mhm.
who is presenting excellence on the set and respect for the work environment to create a work environment that is healthy and harmonious for you and everyone else to do their best work.
Right.
There are a lot more aspects of the job that I go into in the course. And then there is the business. And a large part of the business of being a series regular is using that opportunity to leverage yourself getting another opportunity, whether it's on that same network, which is ideal, or if you use that opportunity to expose yourself to a wider audience of people who could hire you. So that is just a small amount of what I'm teaching in being a series regular.
For actors who are looking to become a series regular on a show,
Yeah.
what should they be equipped with walking through the door for an audition?
So I say if you are in a position where you haven't been a series regular yet and you're looking to become one, congratulations, because this is the most exciting and simple time of your life as an actor. Your life will get so complicated as things move on. But in the beginning, This is so exciting because you have one job and one job only. And that job is to find a way of working that excites you.
Hmm.
Now, acting is a very ephemeral art form. In music, either you hit the note or you didn't. In dance, either you hit the choreography or you didn't hit the choreography. Your toe was pointed or it was not.
Right.
Piano, you hit the right note or you didn't. In acting, there are no such quantifiables. There's
Mhm.
nothing that you can point to and say that that was right or that was wrong. You can't even say someone saying the lines right was right because some of your favorite performances, some of our favorite performances, the person didn't say it as scripted. So there's
Right.
nothing you can point to say right or wrong. So the only measure you have is your own excitement, your own belief in your process. So it's now time for you to scour the ends of the earth to find that process that excites you. When an actor is in their zone, when they're excited about how they work, they radiate. And that's what we can't take our eyes off of. So now, if you bring that to one audition and let's say you're not right for that part, oh my God, they're not going to be able to forget you. So
Exactly.
now from here on out, they're looking for you. They're
Yeah.
looking for something. If you come in a casting director's office and drop that bomb, they're going to be thinking about you forever, essentially. What can I put that person in?
Yeah.
This is how you can help yourself to become a series regular.
Oh, I'm glad that you said that. Because that was actually one of my questions. As if there's something that you can do to set yourself apart or to give you a greater chance at being a series regular. But
It all boils down to the work when it comes to a series regular. It don't even matter what you look like, what your body is like. None of those things matter. If you have the work right,
mhm,
the work is the ultimate trump card. You know how you play in bid whist and you can choose which card is the trump.
yeah,
In acting, your work is always the trump. So that means you can be as big as you want to be. That means you can be as small as you want to be. You can be as light as you want to be, as dark as you want to be. It don't matter. If you
yeah,
have that work popping, then it opens doors for you.
I love it, man. I love it. Is there a difference in auditioning for a recurring role opposed to a series regular role?
So the difference between auditioning for a recurring and a series regular is very minimal.
Okay.
Um, if there is a difference at all, I do believe that there is a difference between auditioning for co-star and guest star roles as opposed to a series regular role. I feel that auditioning for a series regular role is about how much you can you find in the material. That means I'm reading this thing. It's about a doctor who works at a hospital. And rather than me playing my idea of what a doctor acts like, and I'm all trying to act stiff and whatever I think, no, I want to see a human being as a doctor. I want to
Yes.
see you and your life experience if you took that road to become a doctor. Now, obviously, I'm speaking about a very certain kind of series. Now, if you're doing a series like American Crime Story, where Sarah Paulson played Linda Tripp, right?
Right.
She's going to bring herself to it, but in a different way because she is playing a real life character, and so as someone we know as an audience, so the
Right.
process there is a little different than maybe what I'm describing. Now, when you're auditioning for a co-star or a guest star, you have a lot less leeway. For
Right.
example, one of the people who took my course, um, what I do is after people take the course, I do a private one on one with them afterwards if they have any questions. So
Oh,
she was auditioning for a guest star role that was the role of a teacher with a bad attitude, with an attitude problem. And she was like, okay, well, I'm trying to listen to what you said in the course. So I don't have an attitude. I'm a sunny disposition type person. Should I do it like a sunny disposition type person? And I said, see, in the course, I said that that's for a series regular audition. For this particular audition, the joke is that the teacher has a bad attitude. If you
right.
don't play a bad attitude, you're killing the joke.
Yeah.
So when you're a guest star and a co-star, you're a little more you're always at service to the story. But when you're a guest star or a co-star, you have much less leeway to you know um co-author the role. For
Right.
guest star and co-star, you want to fulfill the expressed vision of the writer in the material. But for a series regular, that is one episode, that's the pilot, they don't even really know who the character is yet. They don't know where the character is going. It's up to you to show them where it could go.
That leads me to another question, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this has happened before, where a new show comes out and there's somebody that may be in a recurring role and they become a popular character, and so they become a series regular.
Yes. Okay, so in my course, I described that process. For me, my first series regular was a
Mhm.
guest star. So I started as a guest star. The difference was that I did what is called a network test first in order to get the role of the guest star because they had the intention of making the character a
Okay.
series regular. Um, but they wanted to see how the actor gelled with the other actors, gelled in the storyline. So when I booked the role, it was essentially an extended 3 episode audition. So in that time, in those 3 episodes, if I didn't deliver, I wouldn't have become a
Right.
series regular. However, whenever you have a guest star, even a guest star that you don't think is recurring, you're always angling to be asked back. So if you're a guest star, I want to be asked back and become a recurring. If I'm a recurring, I want to be asked back and turn into a series regular. And that's where you have to start doing series regular level work. Whether you're a guest star, whether you're a recurring actor, you obviously want to fulfill the promises of the job of being a series regular, which obviously means you definitely want to show up on time. You want to know your lines. You want to know the work of what your character is doing. But then you want to give it that little extra something. You want to just feel and seem as much like a real person in that space as humanly possible. And you want to make the writers feel like it was their idea to make you a
Right.
series regular. You want to start getting creative about your relationship to the other regulars on the show. And that's how you can kind of finagle a guest star or a recurring into a series regular. But that should always be your
Yeah,
intention.
and I love that. I love that you don't just go in there and think solely about that particular role. You go in there and try to execute to land more work. Or
Yes. Now here's the thing. You want to put it in the
right.
back of your mind. I have a friend who said, you know how you have a program running in the
Yeah.
background on your computer? That's in the background. At the end of the day, great work is always going to speak for
Mhm.
itself. So that might be your intention in the back of your mind, but when you're there and you have the job, let's
About
just
the job.
worry about
Yes.
this episode. Let's just worry about this scene. Let's just worry about this
Mhm.
moment. And that's how you will, be asked back or not, or this will be some great work that will inspire someone else
Right.
to hire.
Exactly. Um,
Yeah.
at what point can you say that you've made it, or can you ever truly say that you've made it?
Whew, that's a great question. I personally have never believed in made it as a
Mhm.
concept. I think it's a false premise. I really do, because there is no it to make. There's just this role that's in front of me. There's this character. Am I really, am I finding what I need to find? Am I in the moment? Am I doing the work? So I don't believe in made it at all. And I think it's kind of a little bit of a dangerous concept, because it causes you to maybe get a little too comfortable.
Right. So on your platform, you're often speaking with other fellow series regulars who know what the life is like and can speak to a lot of the highs and lows working in this industry. Why is it important to share this with the rest of the acting community?
You know why it's more important now than ever? Because of self tape auditions, we don't get to interact in the way that
Right.
we used to. There was something so nurturing and nourishing about being in a room full of
Mm.
your peers, and not just your peers, but people in your category. There was something so healthy back in the day about me sitting in that lobby and going, "Have you been going out much?" "I haven't really been going out much." "No, I haven't been going out much." "Okay, so it's not just me." Did you book that role? How did it go? Did you have a good time? What did you do in that audition? How do you think you got the role? What was it like to work
Yeah.
with so and so? So now more than ever, it's important for us to connect in these ways, in the way that hopefully I'm doing, and hopefully it's landing for other actors. I feel like it is, but it's a very isolating profession in a lot of ways, and it can lead to a lot of doubt. And obviously, you get told no a lot. So I think it's deeply important to share your
Yeah, and
experience.
this, speaking of doubt, in one of your more recent interviews that you've done with the one that you did with Michael Beach, I'm a big fan of Beach. Uh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he
great
is,
actor.
and the two of you were
Yeah,
discussing a moment in your time where you were feeling down and you were trying to capture the grit of a character. And Michael Beach, talked some sense into you, so to speak, and got it out of you. What
he
exactly did he
did.
tell you?
So at that point in my career and in my life, really, I had been sold a bill of goods that I was
Mhm.
just this, that I was this college educated, poised, articulate
Mhm.
black man, and that I didn't really have the capacity to play anything outside of that. I got in the class, and at that time, they were casting a lot of
Yeah.
thugs, right? So I'd go in for them feeling really stupid and feeling like, people can see right through me. Like, this ain't me. So I had a lot of limitations that I placed on
Mhm.
myself. So when I got into class, he gave me the role of something beyond a thug. He gave me the role of a Neanderthal, somebody who was subhuman, like not subhuman, but just no refinement, no, just
Yes.
animalistic, an animalistic character. It frightened me even more than playing a thug. I got up there, I did the scene. When I was done, Mike said, I gave you a caged animal and you turned him into a psychologist. And the word that I used was
Okay.
a derogatory term. And I was stunned that he had called me out that harshly. So he said I had called him the week before and expressed to him that I wanted to leave the class. I didn't feel like I was, growing fast enough, and whatever. And so he convinced me to
Mhm.
stay in the class. So in that moment when he told me how badly I did the scene, he altered the story a little bit, and he said, "You called me this week and you told me you were leaving the class because you can't hack it," which was a lie from my point of view. So I was like, "No, I never said that." And he goes, "You didn't call me this week and tell me that you couldn't hack the class and you were quitting?" And I said, "No, I didn't do that." And he goes, "Are you calling me a liar?" And I said, "Yes, I'm calling you a liar because I didn't say that." And he goes, "Put that in the
Wow.
scene." And I was like,
Yeah. That right there.
"Oh."
That's what you were
I
missing.
was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that part of me." So I was like, all my life I had avoided that part of myself because I had been taught that it wasn't proper, that it was something that I had
Yeah.
to hide.
You were keeping your composure,
And
out of respect and everything. Yes.
and Eric used to always say, you have to stop being
Right.
polite. So once I knew that that was all he was talking about, I started plugging that in to my auditions. So when I got the audition to play this streetwise, vampire hunter who was homeless, living on the street, and a part of a gang, I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
can do that. Because Eric also taught me to have the courage to say, this is me. I don't have to change the way I talk. I have all of these things inside of me. I don't have to, I can do it
Mhm.
right from here. And that's what I did in the audition. And it stood out because I guess everybody else was maybe yo and trying to play a thug. But I came in there with something different. And so, because the character maybe hadn't been on the streets all of his life, they liked that aspect of me. And that's how
Yeah.
I got the break.
Can you name something that you've learned over the years based solely on your experience that theater school and training couldn't have taught you?
Yes, so many
I'm
things.
sure. We
So
all go
many
through it.
things. Okay, here's right. I could name 100 things, but what I've learned on my own that theater school didn't teach me was when you're doing television, if you blow a line, it is not the end of the world. It's actually an opportunity. Keep your composure, reset, do
Mm,
it again. Um, in theater school, obviously, if you mess up, you're live in front of an audience, and that is excellent training. But it's a slight part of the training that you can abandon when you're a television actor, because everything is so fast and furious. As theater actors, we put this pressure on ourselves to be perfect, to not drop a line, to whatever. But some of the greatest performances in the world have been given by actors who can't make it through a whole take
right.
without stopping. So that's one thing. It's a very
Yeah, for
technical
sure.
thing.
For sure. Um,
Yeah.
and then lastly, I let everybody who comes onto the show give a final word, words of encouragement, or a quote that they like to live by.
My life motto is it's never too early or too late to start or finish anything.
Absolutely.
So, what that means to me is if there's something you want to do, it's never too early. Start it. If there's something you want to do and you're older, it's never too late. If you've started something and abandoned it, it's never too late to pick
Mhm.
it back up. Um, we have all the possibilities in the world. We can change our lives in an instant if we choose to. Way easier said than done. And trust me, it's taken me decades to figure certain things out. We were talking at the beginning of this interview, and the situation that caused me to understand who I am was that I stopped working for 3 years. I got a little job
Mhm.
here or there, but I had spent my 20s and my 30s just as my identity was as this
Mhm.
working actor. And the business changed for me because I was getting older, but my face wasn't getting older. And people knew how old I was, but they just, they were having a hard
Right.
time placing me. So it kind of slowed down my career. And in that time, I felt like I had to find my confidence outside of the business. And I see it as the hand of God coming into my world and just growing me up. And it was as if God had said, I'm going to remove these things that you have made your identity so that you can find out who
Right.
you really are. So that was the most beautiful journey of my life. And so, like I said, you know, whatever it is that any of us want to accomplish, we can do it. It just takes the work and the time and the attention.
Absolutely, man. Well, J. August Richards, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your time, your expertise, and the stories that you shared today is truly, truly, truly appreciated. It is an honor to have you on the show, and I would love to have you back on at some point in time. I like to, mix things up and try to get other guests and maybe have some other people, join a panel or something to that effect. But thank you for being on. Yeah.
Before we go, may I just commend you on your
Yes. Thank you so much.
questions, on your
Thank you.
professionalism from the minute you reached out to me till now. It's been top notch. Your questions were awesome. Your whole system here
Thank
is
you.
incredible. And while my course is about being a series regular, I think that you're kind of embodying a lot of the principles that I try to partake to share in the course. So I just want to
So much.
commend you on that.
Yeah.